Okay, this chapter we're going to do things a little differently, guys. I think I'm actually going to try and have us do the record and practice journal on a daily basis. So what we'll do is we'll start out this chapter with the first one for multiplying fractions. So up at the top, you'll see that there's a question, an essential question, saying, what does it mean to multiply fractions? First activity we have here, it says work with a partner. You guys really don't need to do that. We'll just go through this together and then we'll do the practice pages after this on our own. A bottle of water is halfway full. So you guys can see this bottle of water here over on the side and it shows that it's half full. It says you drink 2/3 of the water. How much water do you drink? So what we're doing is we're trying to figure out how much of that bottle, since it's already only half full, we're going to drink another 2/3 of that half. We're going to figure out how much more there is. So on this record and practice journal, the first thing it says here is to draw a segment and let it represent the length of 1/2. Now that doesn't have to be anything in particular. We're just going to make a segment here and we're going to say that this segment has a length of 1/2. Then the second step, it says how would you divide that segment into 3 equal parts? So I'm going to take that same exact segment and I'm going to divide it into 3 equal parts. Well, I only need to draw 2 other lines that split it up, and I want them to be as close to equal as they possibly can be. So let's see, there's 1, 2 lines, and again, that splits it into 1, 2, 3 equal parts. Again, it's not going to be perfect, but you can see there that that line has been split into 3 equal parts. Then for the third step on this first page, it says rewrite 1/2 as a fraction whose numerator is divisible by 3. So if I have 1/2 and I want my numerator to be divisible by 3, I want to multiply that thing by 3. That means I have to do the same thing to the bottom as well. So I'm going to change this to a numerator that's divisible by 3. I'm going to now call this 3/6. So now that my numerator is divisible by 3, I can say that each part of this 1/2 is 1/6, because remember, this is only representing 1/2 of that total bottle. The other half is being represented by the other 3/6 that we're not going to talk about. So we're only talking about the half that actually has water in it, and each one of those halves is represented by a 1/6. So because I've split this numerator that's divisible by 3, that's what I did here. 1, 2, 3 equal parts out of the 6. Again, it's out of the 6 because we're talking about this whole bottle of water, not just this original half that we started with. So looking at this right here, each part is 1/6 of the water bottle, and you drank 2 of them. Written as multiplication, you have drank 2/3 times 1/2. And what we're going to talk about, how much we drank, is actually this. We've drank 2 of those, so 1, 2 of them have been drank out of the total 6, and we can see that our answer is going to be 2 times 1 is 2 over 3 times 2 is 6 total, which that can be reduced to 1/3 of the bottle of water. So again, these record and practice journals, they're kind of hard, but again, it helps when the pictures are drawn out and talked about step by step. So hopefully this kind of helped clarify kind of the picture visual part of this lesson. So again, we broke that 1/2 of a bottle of water into 3 equal parts, and then we talked about each individual part being drank. We drank 2/3 of that 1/2. And what that totaled up to be was 2/6, which reduces down to 1/2. Okay, the second page of the record and practice journal, you guys, you could do this activity with a piece of paper and fold it up and you could see this, or we could just talk about this picture that's over here to the right-hand side. It says a park has a playground that is 3/4 of the width of the park, and it's 4/5 the length of the park. So what it's talking about right here is this entire width is the width of the park, and 3/4 of it is the width of the playground. Then it has the length also split up a little bit. It says here's the entire length of the park, and the playground is only 4/5 the length. So what it wants to know is what is the percentage, or what is the fraction of the park being taken up by the playground that's over here in this box. So again, you could fold up that piece of paper, but really what we need to do is what it says here. We could count up the total squares after folding the piece of paper, or we could just multiply 3 over 4 times 4 over 5. Now, it's really nice and easy when we multiply fractions, and you guys should write this down somewhere. When we multiply fractions, we go straight across. So, multiplying fractions, we go straight across. So it's very simple when we do this problem. We take the numerators and we multiply them. 3 times 4 is 12. Whoops. Let's erase that. Let's make that 12 look a little better. And 4 times 5 is 20. Now, when there's a fraction involved ever, we always want to reduce. So we take this fraction and we look to divide by the greatest common factor. And we've talked about greatest common factor already, so it should be fairly easy to figure out what we should divide by. The greatest common factor of 12 and 20 is 4, so we're going to divide both by 4. If you don't know what it is, just keep dividing by numbers that you know go into both, and you should get here. But if I divide by 4, I will get 3 over 5. So what we can say here is 3/5 of the park is taken up by the playground, which also we can talk about later on in this math class is what percentage of the park is taken up. Okay, so this table, it has a couple different things that it's looking for here. It says the verbal expression. Really, I'm not as concerned about the verbal expression as I am you just working out the problem. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to work out 3 and 4, and then I'm going to have you guys try 5 through 8 on your own. And then once you're done with that, you're actually going to go into eBackpack and complete this student record and practice journal along with the answers that I have already put in here. So you'll complete it with the answers. So make sure that you have taken the notes on all this video, and if you haven't, go ahead and back up and make sure you've at least written down the answers, because you will hand in the entire record and practice journal. So first one here, 2/3 times 1/2 just is 2/3 of 1/2. So we would say 2, whoops, let's get that straightened out right there. There we go. We're going to say 2 over 3 times 1 over 2, and we're just, like I said, we multiply straight across. So I multiply straight across the top and across the bottom, and then look to reduce. So I can say 2 times 1 is 2, 3 times 2 is 6, and again, we always look to reduce. We put our answer 1/3 is what it reduces to, so I have 1/3. Okay, another thing that we can do here, and I didn't show you it yet, but here's what we can always do in this. 3 over 4 times 4 over 5. When you're multiplying fractions, you can always look to cross cancel. So if you notice here, we have a factor of 4 on bottom and on top. We can cross cancel those, and those now become 1s. Now, they won't always cancel each other out completely, but there will be some factors that go into numbers that we can reduce before we even get our answer. So if I just do this now, and I multiply straight across the top, I will get 3 times 1 is 3, over 1 times 5 is 5, and I know that that is reduced all the way. So whether you multiply straight across and then reduce, or cross cancel and then have an answer that's already reduced, that's fine. But pause the video right now and try finishing out 5 through 8 on a piece of paper. Once you're finished, go ahead and unpause. I'll show you the work for the rest of these, and then you guys will go ahead and complete the rest of the student record and practice journal for today. Okay, now that you've had some time, I'm going to go ahead and write these out. So we're going to have, whoops, excuse me, if I could write them out correctly here to begin with. Here we go. We're going to have 2 over 3 times 5 over 6. Now, I'm going to reduce this because I always like to reduce at the beginning instead of at the end. So 2 goes into 6 3 times. So that 6 becomes a 3, the 2 becomes a 1. So now I have 1 times 5, which is 5, over 3 times 3, which is 9. They share no common factors, so my answer is 5 over 9. Okay, the next one, we have 1 over 6 times 1 over 4. We multiply straight across, nothing can be cross-canceled here, and we get 1 over 6 times 4 is 24. So that's my final answer, 1 over 24. Next one, we have 2 over 5 times 1 over 2. We can cross cancel our 2's. Those now become 1's. 1 times 1 on top is 1. 5 times 1 on bottom is 5. So my answer is 1/5. Next one, 5 over 8 times 4 over 8. Or excuse me, 4 over 5. We can cross cancel a couple things here. The 5's cross cancel and become 1's. And the 4 and the 8 can cross cancel as well. The 4 becomes a 1. The 8 becomes a 2. And now this is just 1 times 1 on top, 1 times 2 on bottom. So my answer is 1/2. Okay, so now again, in the Chapter 2 folder in eBackpack, there's a folder that says Green Book Material. I want you to go ahead and go into there. And once you're in the Green Book Material, you'll see it pretty laid out. It'll say Green Book Material Book, Green Book Material Student and Record Practice Journal. And what you can do is just open up that whole page and complete the stuff for 2.1. There's 4 pages. And then keep it, because we're actually going to submit that entire student record and practice journal for a grade at the end of the chapter. Okay, so finish out the other 2 pages of chapter 2.1 and keep it, don't submit it, and we'll submit it all at the end of the chapter, and I'll probably remind you in class as well. Good luck.